Exactly.
A giant one.
Rear view mirror. That's exactly.
Stephanie, right there with the entendre.
Yo ho ho, it's time for the Bodie Show. Living on the water is the only life we know. Yo ho ho ho, it's time for the Bodie Show.
There's probably going to be all sorts of whacked feedback because of that. Guys, hello, Stephanie.
Hello, Jeff.
I don't know why there's always like a little bit of sarcasm in our voices, like almost like we're frenemies when we greet each other at the beginning of the show. Hello, Stephanie.
I think it's more awkwardness.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
And the feedback is because the sound is blah, blah, messed up. And I just stuck my microphone in my earphone so Steph could hear the music at the intro. But
yeah, I appreciate that.
Just because
going the extra mile.
We've always discussed the music helps us kind of like lock in on this.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it feel real.
Because it does not seem very real sometimes. Like, we've had that conversation, like, do we have a podcast?
Yeah. Don't look too closely at it. It might disappear.
No. All right. Where are you?
I'm in my living room watching the snowfall.
Oh, nice.
Where are you, Jeffrey?
I am in California. I am in my friend Alex's kitchen in Lake Tahoe, Incline Village.
That is a great place to be.
And earlier today, I was at my friend Tucker's house in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I have something Bodie to report. I had probably some kind of like Bodie bucket list thing happen. I was up before dawn this morning, and I was enjoying the sort of like waking up really early because of the time change thing, because I came from Philadelphia to California. And I'm out here because I'm having a good time with a whole bunch of my oldest friends. And I was standing on the back porch, and a container ship from Tucker's back porch, you can see through a couple of, hilly islandy things, peninsula things. You can see the San Francisco skyline. So I'm looking at the lit up San Francisco skyline, and a container ship goes in front of it. And the container ship had like lights all over it. So it was but it was also a big black Hulk, except that it had lights all over it. So it was sort of like a shadow passing in front of the San Francisco lights with its own lights on it moving. I posted a video of it on the Bodie Show.
It.
Oh, you did?
It was awesome. Yeah. I was imagining it full of rum and hot tubs.
Hey, callbacks. Speaking of callbacks.
Yes.
We've had a lot of old business accrue.
We're
good. No, you can stay here and you don't have to be quiet. Background noise is kind of fun. Also, there's a headphones.
We're small drum for the bubble.
Oh, that would be important.
We just solved that drum.
All right.
Take a break?
No. Those are two of my oldest, bestest friends who have known for a long time, dealing with some stuff. Speaking of old business, we got a lot of it.
We have some. Yes.
We've discussed that perhaps the show is being overtaken by old business.
Well, I mean, we'll see how it goes. You never know how quickly or how, and I think that's good. There's a little, I feel like it's maybe related to the fact that we don't prep a whole lot for some of these segments. And so there's some questions to be answered, which is fine.
Also, we've been prepping more because we're actually like following through on stuff we talk about from the last show. So it's like, It's like we're kind of like not prepping,
but then diving deep into knowledge. Maybe that might be overstating it just a touch.
That might get edited out. But I'm saying that more and more, but not doing it. Okay.
I know. I noticed that.
There's a listener. Let's start off with listener corrections. We have a listener correction from John Maxwell, who I spoke with. He is he works at Brooklyn Boatyard and is brokering the Rip Snorter Racing Lobster boat. I like to say it in a special voice. And his listener correction is that, based on his long experience sailing and boating in the area, no man's land. Remember last week we spoke about a boat design called the No Man's Land boat? Mm-hmm. The No Man's Land boat and the island No Man's Land is actually pronounced No Man's Land. No Man's Land.
No Man's Land.
I was all No Man's Land. It's No Man's Land. I was all like lobster boat racing, which made it sound like the lobsters were wearing, like, as John said, he envisioned Italian driving gloves, except they would be mittens and, definitely sunglasses, lobsters racing.
Right. That's not what's happening in this case. Although John also confirmed that lobster racing was a thing until at some point recently they don't do it anymore. So somebody decided that racing lobsters was a bad idea, but it did happen.
In the email that he sent.
Yes.
You're going to have to tell us more about that since we're on the subject.
That's all I know. I mean, he said that. I mean, he said that. He said that it was not. It was a funny. It was a very funny email. It was great. It was like, first of all, it's lobster boat racing, not lobster racing. Although people used to race lobsters, but they don't anymore. And also, it makes me think of a group of lobsters, kind of like the Pride of Lions, but I don't know what it's called. And you and I are not prepared to answer that. It's a
pod.
A pod of lobsters.
Yeah.
Yes. And there was some funny language there about how they have ritualistic courtships underwater, which was also amazing.
So people used to race lobster side by side. Like you'd get together with like your racing lobster and like bet, like, hey man, my lobster's going to smoke your lobster. And then you bet in car racing, street racing, you bet pink slips, like the title to your car. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't really race things. It's not something I do.
All right. So,
but that sounds very like grease lightning when you say
yeah,
it like that.
yeah, grease lightning, exactly.
Like I feel like, like the paved rivers in LA and the whole thing.
Yeah, street racing. But I guess like if you were going to race your lobsters, you'd probably just like, if you won, you got the other guy's lobster and you got 2 lobsters for dinner. Notice I say,
would you want a racing lobster? It sounds tough.
Stringy. No, you probably want a lobster that's just been like
a laying around lobster.
All right, we got to get back to some Bodie content.
Okay.
Moral.
Is that it on the rip snorter? And I did find some clips of lobster boat racing, and I'm all in.
I was going to come back to that. I was hopping all over the place, but I think yes. Tell us more about lobster boat racing.
I mean, all I know is I watched a couple clips. I didn't see anything that was referring. There was no like we're trying to pretend we're pulling pots or anything. I made that all up in my head. That's not happening. They're just racing the boats. It's fine. And then there was like a lot of talk about how like everyone like by any means necessary, like they were like throwing like nitrous oxide.
Yeah.
In the something in the thing and whatever. Jet fuel. Yeah.
Nas.
So there was like some Nas. So there was, there was like, it reminded me of the scavenger hunt a little bit, and then everybody was piled in there and having a good time. And I don't know, it looked like something we would definitely do.
Yeah, we should race more stuff.
Okay.
Right? All right.
I mean, that's one takeaway. Yeah.
So I talked to John and I said, like, is there... What's the deal? Like, because you have a down east hull, which is not built for speed. The rounded chines, like they're not a great planing surface. You know, all of the things that make a down east boat aren't necessarily things that make a boat go fast. And I said, are there rules so that somebody doesn't just show up in like a speedboat and call it a lobster boat? And he said, no, ain't no rules in lobster boat racing.
That's what I heard too. Ain't no rules. But I mean, it's a good point. Like, and it's just, I mean, ostensibly you need to be able to get lobsters with it, but maybe we should just get a Donzi lobster boat.
Donzi lobster boat.
I don't see why you couldn't pull lobster pots in a Donzi.
No, you could pull lobster pots from a floaty. Maybe that would be the thing to do.
Sounds like a terrible idea.
Like lobsters with all their spines and sharp points would not be good on floaties. But what we could do is we could show up to the lobster boat races in a Donzi and say what? we can wear a sou'wester hat and like all sorts of fisherman core gear in our Donzi.
Yes.
And
I do like that idea. That's a good idea.
Okay.
We should do that.
Okay. I think that's just about it for and I want to reiterate, Rip Snorter is a very, very well built and well finished out boat. And John told me that some backstory. So DNL, the company that makes these boats, is run by like some really wonderful boat builders who are in their 80s, and they're just like, you know what are we doing? And so Rip Snorter, the original hull had been finished to a certain point, but then these guys were like, you know what, we're just going to go chill out and not build racing lobster boats anymore. And so Steve White, the head of Brooklyn Boatyard, was like, all right, we'll take that off your hands. So they bought that hull, and then they built a custom enclosure and did all of the systems and finishing of it. So it's like a really well built boat, and it's for sale for $75,000, which for a 25-foot tumble home, really well powered, super fast Lobster boat, that's a pretty good deal. I know it might not sound like that to people, but I think that's a pretty good deal. Anyway, I hope somebody that we know buys it because I want to go terracing around it.
I want to drive it.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. You want to own it.
I do.
You want to say hi, Jeremy?
Of course I want to say hi. Hi, Stephanie.
That's the Peanut Gallery
Where
mic.
is he?
If you want to be on the mic, you got to. If you want to be on the show, you got to pick up the mic.
Hi.
You can't hear. You got to put, and you have to put the headphones on.
Oh shit! I haven't even had a sip of beer yet.
No.
Look at the hat.
Yeah, he's wearing the Boy Show hat.
Ooh, I feel
Hi.
like I'm
Hi.
right in the room. With
Can you hear Steph?
How are you?
I'm so good.
It's so good to see you.
It's awesome to see you.
You gotta hold the mic, not like an a-hole.
Sorry.
There you go.
I just want to sit here.
You do?
I just
Listen
wanna
to
say
my
Jeremy,
voice.
Jeremy looks amazing in his Bodie show, black Bodie show cap, black or navy.
Navy
Looking really good.
representing.
Yeah,
Looks fabulous.
it worked out. Welcome, Jeremy. Welcome to the Bodie Show.
I
Will you tell us a Bodie story?
need to think of a Bodie story.
All right.
I wasn't ready.
You can come back to it. You can come back to it. All right. So, moving on. We're still working through old business.
Wait, I have a leading question for Jeremy. Tell me about the first time that Jeff brought you to the river.
Jeff didn't. Tucker McLean did.
Oh, never mind.
I
We
went.
can't talk about that. That
but-
sounds.
No, but actually, I think my first time to the river was for Tucker's wedding.
You guys both.
I did.
Both of you. So both of you at the same time, right?
I'd been
First
there
time at the
before.
river.
Yeah, I'd been there
You
before.
had been up in college, I think,
Yeah.
for some
Hard labor.
hard
Oh, okay,
labor
so-
and other trips.
Yeah, yeah. Come on up. It's gonna be great. And I'm like, why am
Yeah.
Why am I carrying like logs?
and my summer place to go is in the Poconos, northeastern Pennsylvania. So
And it's on the way, so you pretty much peel off right away.
it was like from Philadelphia to go hour and a half, 2 hours north, or from Philadelphia to go 5 hours north. It's like, I'll stay right here.
Yeah.
But I did make it back for where I went for a first time to Tucker's wedding. And then I think later when Jeff bought a house, we came and visited.
A bunch of times.
And for several years, we came and visited.
Yeah.
When we were in the
Yes.
Poconos, we came up for weekends.
Yeah.
Well, now you know that it's so much better than Poconos. I'm just kidding.
Careful.
Other people might be listening.
Okay. All right.
No, I do love it, and it's been several years since we've been, and we may make an appearance
Because we've
Come
traded.
back
I've
this
come.
summer.
I've come to like swim and sail with you, like 3-4 years in a row now.
Yeah.
So I think that,
probably.
like, I think
we're
we-
probably due for
We're due.
a trip north,
Right.
which will be good.
Yeah. I could tell a Bodie.
Awesome.
I've been thinking about it.
All right. You know what? I'm going to tell a Bodie story about us, Jeremy and I. But I'm not.
it.
I'm not going to do it right now because I want to finish the old business and some Bodie stuff. Okay.
Oh, right. Okay. What's next?
Jones Act.
Jones Act?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to start?
I didn't. I still haven't done any research.
Okay. All right. Well,
so that's. I mean, I can start, but I'll just make up a bunch of bullshit.
no. I actually know now, and we have a consultant here if needed. So if I say anything wrong, then you do just tell me. But I do know a little bit about the Jones Act, and it kept ticking up in the back of my head because when I worked at Save the River, we worked on navigational stuff a lot, and the Jones Act is it's old. It's like from the 20s, 29, I believe, and it was basically says that if a ship is going between two U.S. ports, it has to be on a ship that was made in the U.S.
Or U.S. flag.
or a U.S. flag vessel, and then also
just who's off camera? Tell us.
we
Or
have
off
here
mic.
our nautical. This is our maritime consultant.
We have a
JK.
bona fide merchant mariner here, ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen. Ladies and
we
gentlemen,
do.
we have somebody here
We
who
do.
doesn't just make shit up. Or
Well, we do that a lot too.
JK, how's
No,
it
but-
going?
I'm doing well. Yeah.
Okay, so but just for intro, so JK, actually tell us what you do. Like you are
Well, I was a merchant marine for 14 years. Mostly deep sea government ships, mostly government flagged or government, job.
And what did you do on these ships?
I was an able-bodied seaman
Seaman.
for most of it. Yes, yes.
Excellent. And what does that mean, though, for the rest of us?
Well, I work out on deck. I do. I stand a watch on the bridge. I steer the ship. I do maintenance on deck and any sort of cargo-related, jobs.
And these are big ships.
Yes.
How big?
Ocean going. Yeah.
How,
So-
like tonnage and length.
Well, the first ship that I was on was a 1,000-foot tanker out of Alaska, going to Port Angeles, Washington, and
1,000 feet long. That's more than
Yeah.
3 football fields. Okay.
that's 500,000 barrels.
Half a
of
million
oil.
barrels. So 500,000 55-gallon drums of oil.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
So these are big. So the other thing that the other reason why JK is bringing some additional knowledge here is that it's a heavily unionized industry, right?
Yes.
So the mariners union, if you will,
Yes.
is very strong, which is a good thing. But part of that is the Jones Act is also very much about the people working on the ship, not just who made the ship and who's flagging the ship and all of that.
Yes. It has basically saved thousands of jobs in our country. I mean, it does cause things to cost more to ship, but you're also getting people that are paid better and ships that are better maintained than the foreign flagged ones that are much cheaper than the U.S. flagged
Yeah.
fleet.
And
So
They make thousands of ships in China, which are not as well made as the few dozen that we make here a year.
Right. And so in order to do port-to-port shipping in the U.S., a U.S. built and U.S. flagged or U.S. built or U.S. flagged ship is what you need.
I think that has to be built.
In my experience, it's just U.S. flagged because the only U.S. flagged cruise ships were Norwegian Cruise Line America, and it was a Norwegian company that flagged their ships American U.S. to be used in Hawaii.
Okay.
So I don't believe those ships were made
Built,
in
but-
the U.S.
Okay.
But flagged and staffed,
Okay.
right?
Well, every U.S. flagship has to have 100% U.S. Officers and I believe 75% U.S.
Crew.
unlicensed.
Okay,
crew.
cool.
Yeah.
Got it.
So
And
we could have like smaller, crews that come on. We call them a riding gang, which will be come on to do a specific job while we're going from one port to another port.
okay, like a riding gang might come on to
Yeah.
like fix something or
Right.
move something or
Or paint stuff.
paint stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Jones Act is a little controversial. It is both doing a great job for U.S. sailors,
Yes.
and the other arguments for it are like national security. We want to be able to, in case something happens, we want to be able to make and staff our own boats. Blah blah blah. Like I read up a little. There's a lot of reasons why it's a good thing, and then there's a lot of people who are always trying to sink it.
It protects our industry and our sailors, but it harms the bottom line of the people that are trying to make all the money.
Yeah.
So
And I've heard their arguments be that, we'd move more cargo within the U.S. by ship, which is an efficient way to move things.
the most efficient way to move
The
things.
most efficient way. It is, yeah. Like per gallon or per unit of energy, and to get something across from one place to another. But the argument against it by the people who want to make some more money is, hey, we'd like ship more stuff from New York to Miami instead of put it on a truck, but like it costs too much because we would have to build the ship in the U.S. and that costs too much. Blah blah blah.
Right. Exactly. There it is.
Your point though about like the quality of construction and safety, we've had some experience directly with that with foreign flag vessels that have lost steering in the St. Lawrence Seaway on like every couple of months, it seems.
The first ship I was on, that 1,000-foot tanker, we had a bit yanked off of the bow by a tugboat. It was rated for 100 working tons, and it was ripped off with about 25 tons of weight on it. And that almost hit the tugboat. And they went around, they used an electromagnet, sensor to check every bit on the ship, and each one had a small like weakness, like a crack in it. And they were Chinese bought bits shipped over and welded onto the American flag ship. So every bit on that ship was condemned until they were all fixed.
Yeah.
Because of Chinese parts on our ships.
Right. Yeah. I think that, like that, I'm sure that is one story of a whole bunch. So,
yes.
Yeah.
But that was a 8-month-old ship when I got on it.
Oh, wow.
So it should not be falling apart and being ripped apart by a tugboat.
Yeah.
At 8 months.
With 20 tons of pressure instead of the 100 tons that it can take. A bit. So, what's a bit?
Well, a bit is like a post that's used like a cleat.
Got it. So a tow bit, sometimes you see them on the back of like the Towboat US, which is
right.
a towing company, a tow bit that you might see on a.
So the ships would have like a mega bit that would be on the bow or the stern that would be used to actually tow that ship. But then smaller ones along the sides where we would put like regular lines. So we couldn't use any of the bits on that ship except for those, huge 3.5 foot wide bits, steel bits on the bow because of the crack or the
you were at sea and that happened.
We were going into port in Valdez, Alaska.
Okay.
So the boat was preventing us from hitting the dock too hard when it.
Oh, okay, got it.
It ripped off the cleat.
Got it.
Bit.
All right, Jones.
We'll have more. Yeah, so we'll have more stories to come. And but I think how do we feel about the Jones Act? Is it clear? Do we cover it?
Jeremy, do you understand the Jones Act?
Crystal.
Jeremy's crystal clear. All right.
Crystal clear. Okay, we did our job.
Jeremy's a pretty smart guy, so he could pick up.
Probably already knew all this.
Probably knew all this. Yeah.
I just didn't want to offer up an answer earlier.
Yeah.
A couple episodes ago, I figured I'd like to see how this played out.
All right,
you guys
Let
did
us
well.
suffer through it.
Stephanie,
Yes.
You checked in with your personal historian.
I did. I feel like just out of respect, we need to let people know what we're talking about. We were talking about messages in a bottle, and I relayed to you that we received one when I was in my teens on Occident Island. And I couldn't remember what it said, but now I'm going to tell you what it said because my good friend Julie Bauer, who I've had the good fortune of sharing most of my life with, including that summer on Occident, when we found the message in the bottle, and I don't remember anything about my life, but luckily she does. So I called her and I said, "What did it say?" And here's what it said. Are you ready?
Yes. I thought that was rhetorical, but okay.
I'm waiting.
Yeah. Jeremy's like dying.
Okay. It said, "To you, from us, lucky, ? Yes, you are."
Okay.
And that's it.
And how fast was her recall on that?
I mean, we spent 3.5 seconds on it.
Jesus, she is a remarkable individual.
I know. Thank God. But then she thinks I'm going to remember stuff. She's like, "Remember the person in the high school?" And I was like, no.
Yeah, no.
But it is really, really handy. I'm very grateful to have somebody in my life that remembers everything that happened.
I got to be honest, that's a little anticlimactic.
Well, I understand.
You're
not wrong.
It's on the heels of the story of the oldest known message in a bottle.
Right.
Of dropping messages around the world that had a origination destination thing, and you don't even know that Joe or Sally or Steve sent that message.
I know, but that in some ways that's what's so cool about messages in a bottle back in the day. I mean, now you're going to just put a website on it, and people are going to just contact you. This is what we'll be doing this summer with the Bodhi Show.
Yeah,
all summer long.
Well,
obviously,
younger demographic liaison Mary Jane had a suggestion offline. She said, "Hey, you should stuff a Bodhi Show sticker in the bottle and a note that says." If you find this, get in touch. We'd love to hear from you for the show about where you live and how you found the bottle, like what all that is.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
We should put one in Lake Tahoe and see.
All right. On the way out tomorrow, we'll do that, and we can discuss. No, I still am still mentally hung up on it's not. Is it littering? I got too much.
I know.
I think too hard about stuff.
Yeah.
But I got one more thing on Mary Jane, and I think it might be the last bit of old business. Feet of boat overall divided by years of life as our dumb, useless metric to have fun with. Mary Jane said and we'll see if she follows through, that she's going to actually collect data on FOBOA, feet of boat overall, and do some statistical analysis, which is something that she's currently going to college to learn to do, and then report back. She's going to make some graphs that would be at least entertaining. So FOBOA, lifetime
I can't
FOBOA.
wait.
Yeah, all right.
I want to circle back on Carvel planking because that's something that you threw out. You
Yeah.
threw out when you were talking about.
Yeah, I just threw it out there because everybody knows what it is.
Yeah, and probably everybody does except for me. So, but you said
Jeremy.
either lapstrake or maybe Carvel planking, and
Yeah.
of course I started thinking about like Cookie Puss and Fudgy the Whale.
Fudgy the Whale is back. That's a whale of a cake for a whale of a dad at your participating Carvel ice cream store. Yep, and this year your Carvel dealer makes them loaded with fudge and nuts.
Jeremy, do you know what Carvel planking is?
I know Cookie Puss and
Fudgy the Whale.
Fuzzy the Whale. But I'm not sure.
Carvel
about the
planking.
other.
It's how you plank your ice cream boat. Is it?
Carvel planking is you explain it, Jeff, or do you want me to explain it?
I want you to explain it.
You want me to explain it. So as far as I can tell, it's kind of just like end to end instead of overlappy.
Edge to edge.
Edge to edge.
Yes.
Not end to end. Yeah, that would be crazy. It'd be a very long boat. So yeah.
Just like with one plank. Edge to edge.
Edge to edge.
Yeah.
Instead of overlappy.
So if you were to build a wall, like if you think about siding on a house, you could just have a bunch of boards nailed to the house and their edges meet, horizontally.
Well,
you could
I
also
just
have
interject a second?
Yeah.
When we do that on the inside, what do we call it?
Oh.
Shiplap, right?
Yeah, except Carvel doesn't have the shiplaps.
Okay.
So shiplap is a whole other kind of planking where you actually have an overlap. Oh, you just made a face like, no, let's not talk about it in a whole other kind of planking.
I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't get to that level of information.
So I was going with house siding as a way for people to understand it in terms they already knew. So if you have, if you've got boards that are running horizontally and the bottom of, from like if you're looking at the bottom board on the house, closest to the ground, you got a first row of boards and then another row of boards right on top of that. The edges mate perfectly, right? It's basically like a solid wall of wood, edge to edge. The planks just go up the wall. And then, what's the siding called when they overlap? It's just, damn it.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's when you start to overlap the boards is the next one.
But what's the siding called? It's like called something.
What's wood siding?
Oh, it's God.
Why are we?
We shouldn't do these late at night anymore.
No. That's my fault. It's my fault. I left the podcast equipment.
Is it not clapboard?
Clapboard. All right. Oh my God. This might get edited. No, I'll leave it in.
No, you gotta edit this. Come on.
It's funny when we say that and I don't.
I thought you were like literally drawing a picture of what Carvel planking was over there.
Clapboard.
Clapboard.
That's what I said.
You were
You
correct.
said shiplap.
No, she just said clapboard.
Clapboard siding. So that's when the boards on the side of the house overlap and angle like out away from the wall a little bit where they overlap.
Yes.
All right. So Carvel planking on a boat, you just have the plank edges next to each other and you have really strong frames inside because the planks don't join to each other. They just join to the frame of the boat. When you have lapstrake boat hulls, the planks are actually nailed to each other where they overlap. And so it creates more structure. So you can use slightly weaker frames or you end up with an overall stronger boat. So Carvel planking is like kind of a quick way to make a boat. Uses less wood overall because you don't have the overlap. You can get a smoother, fairer surface on the boat. Maybe it's faster, maybe it's not. And wait, I thought you were going to explain this. Shit. Just got Tom Sawyered.
It was a team effort.
Tom Sawyering me? Yeah, all right.
Whatever just happened.
Okay.
I think that, yeah, so it's interesting though. So it would have a smooth side, but you and I see all kinds of smooth sided boats. Like if we're looking at like an old whatever barrel back Packer Craft blah blah that's smooth sided, is that
Carvel planked.
That's Carvel planked?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Carvel
I'm
planking, I
done
think,
with
is how
my
you
questions.
get a smooth wooden boat.
Always. That's always the word for it. So we know Lapstrick, but we don't know Carvel, or at least we did. Now everybody knows. Now we
Yeah.
all know.
The only
Now we are
just for
full
the
of
record, like
knowledge.
I know all I know from wooden boats is what I've read and or just like learned on the fly. I've built one wooden boat, but it was out of plywood.
Oh, right. We heard about that.
JK.
Do you have anything to say?
Well, I just have a personal note that my name Borden is English, but it comes from the Viking burden, which is actually a plank of wood used to making ships
Wow,
back then. So
that's a
Now you're even more
So
busy.
my ancestors that conquered England probably helped build the ships that brought them there. So,
yeah
yeah.
money. Did you like?
Nice job.
You got any like keepsakes from that? The conquering?
Oh, I do not.
From the conquering.
It took about 300 years to become English. So
Okay.
now they're just English.
All right. Borden. That's really cool. I like the backstory.
So I always thought it was burden before because I'm like a burden, but no, burden originally was a plank of wood. So
Awesome.
That's good.
yeah.
All right.
Wait,
What?
I feel like we missed one thing.
What did we miss?
Nothing. We
No
missed
one.
nothing.
We covered it all.
Okay.
All right. We are going to end this show with Twick, which is what you now call our regular recurring segment this week in curling, because Steph took up curling in Canada. And would Jerry, you're going to want to listen to this. Like
I'm really good at it.
Listeners, you're going to want to like make it through boat of the week and listen to this week in curling, because I'm going to have to take some sort of like medicine to process how ridiculous the shit you learned. All right. So let's play. Let's do.
They're listening to this.
Boat of the week,
Can't hear it, but we're
stable
happy
and
they are.
sleek. Check out that vessel, baby, isn't she sweet? It's the boat of the week, the boat of the week. Ooh, how I love me, the boat of the week. Da 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 da. Hey, yeah, let's check out the boat of the week.
That is special when it's in your ears on the headphones.
On the headphones when you're live.
I feel like that was live.
Yeah.
That was
You should come up to the. We're probably gonna do a Bodie show live this summer, where that song gets played live by the musician Jay Nash, who oops, I almost used the F word, who wrote it, performs it together with Josh Day, his bandmate. Okay, we got a Boat of the Week submission from Janelle. Janelle, we are this week, if you're listening, we're not going to cover and review your Boat of the Week submission because it wouldn't win.
Because
You know, when the days get a little longer, there's a little more light. I fall off the wagon and I go looking at boat listings.
this sounds like a song lyric. I'm listening.
And I have search parameters 1975 to 1985. And that's it. And I came across a 23-foot Chris Craft Scorpion in Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. And it pains me to even talk about this because this is the second of two out of all the Boat of the Week submissions, contestants, Admiral's Choice nominations from one of us, Steph. This is one of two that I'm like, I don't want to tell people that this is for sale because I want it. Mm-hmm. Here, Jared, go through I've seen all
By
these
the
pictures.
time people read this, it will already be ours.
Yeah, because we talked yesterday about this. I'm like, oh my God.
I mean, we are very close to just making it ours. It's amazing.
It's real good, right? It is a cream puff of a 84 speedboat. Oh, it's making me talk low.
Jeremy's reading copy. Go.
Yeah,
No, I'm not. I'm not reading copy. I'm flipping through the pictures.
Okay.
It
Oh.
looks fantastic. Of the pictures I saw of the vintage Cobalt that you picked up,
yeah,
I mean, it's obviously
From a
different brand,
right,
but it reminds me of that. Ooh, wait, there's a little cabin.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us more about
right.
what you see in the cabin.
Nice upholstery.
Yeah, keep going. What's at the front of the cabin, Jared?
Is that a mirror?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of course a mirror is in, in the cabin.
It's 1984. It's 1984.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a mirror in your stabbing cabin.
That's a big mirror.
Yeah.
Does it come off the wall to lay flat?
No,
it's mounted.
it pivots. It's mounted, but it looks like it pivots. Like
It looks like it
a
could
rear
pivot, yeah.
a rear view mirror in your car.
But like a
Kind of
giant
handy. Exactly.
a giant one.
Rear view mirror. That's exactly.
Stephanie right there with the entendre.
23 foot with immaculate
I mean-
cuddy cabin.
Read the copy, Jer.
Radio, new marine vinyl, and carpet in cockpit. 350 CI engine and all new filters, new 4-barrel Rochester carburetor, new electronics, rebuilt outdrive, new engine mounts. God, there's a bunch of noises goes on there. Reason for selling: would like to get a travel trailer and don't have room for both. This
Fair.
boat has been cared for meticulously, runs perfectly. We'll pull 2 skiers easily.
Yes.
I have receipts that show the work done. That sounds fantastic.
Can I describe it a little bit for the listener since this is an audio format?
When we buy it, we're going to rename it Will Pulls 2 Skiers Easily. That's a great name.
No, rear view.
Rear view. That's good too. All right. Describe it,
Here's
Jeff,
to
so.
looking at you.
All right. So from the bow, first of all, it is a long, relatively narrow speedboat. From the bow, it has there's a stainless steel railing, which I like as a both a safety and a aesthetic detail. So stainless steel railing comes up probably about a foot off the deck and then wraps back and merges down to the deck after the windshield. It's got a really steeply angled windshield with some cool angly side window details in them to sort of accentuate the layback of the windshield. It is I'm not so good with colors. It's a blue hull, so there's a blue.
Blue.
Right.
Yeah.
Just kind of like a light royal blue, maybe.
Yeah, that's fair.
That sounds like you're being nice.
No, I don't have a better way to say it.
Okay. But what's like really nice is that from the waterline up about 2/3 of the side of the boat is that really pretty blue. But then there's this like creamy beige stripe that runs along the entire length of the boat from bow to stern that matches really nicely with that blue. Plus, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to mention the reverse shear, which you mentioned when we first talked about this.
Yeah,
Because I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it, and the way the colors happen. So the way the cream color stays the same distance from the edge of the bow, but then so basically because of the reverse shear, the blue gets wider and then smaller again.
Yeah. So from at the bow, the blue is sort of almost comes to a match or comes to a point basically with the cream color. The cream color is a continuous stripe, but then the reverse shear means that the shear line of the boat, like the edge of it, when you look at it side on from the bow, it goes up a little bit and then back down. I typically don't like that, but I think that when executed gently on a long boat, it can look nice. And on this, it looks just right. And I think it because of those 2 colors on the sides.
When executed gently on a boat of this size.
Like a short,
Well said.
a short, wide boat with a bunch of reverse shear looks like a football.
Yeah.
Doesn't work for me. Some people like it.
I know. I have the same feelings about the reverse shear. But this boat, the fact that it's a Chris Craft means something to me. Like I really love. I've never heard of this model before, and there's a lot
Scorpion.
of right. I've never heard of a Scorpion before.
Yeah, and then there are 2 like dark window portholes
And we know where those go.
into they shed just enough dark filtered light into the cabin.
For the mirror to be useful. And then there's a great swim ladder with both,
There's good handholds on that.
yep,
Yeah.
handholds on the swim ladder. Very nice.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal to have.
Very important to me.
Right. One of the things that is effectively disqualifying for you in a boat is like if it's at all odd to swim off. If you're like, nope, doesn't matter. The rest of it can be disregarded.
Yeah, I mean, what we know about me is if I'm using the boat, I'm going to get in the water. And if
Yeah.
I can't get back in the boat, then it's not my boat anymore. So
Right.
I don't want it.
So by
my boat for 10 minutes until I get in the water, and then somebody else is going to take it. Like, I'm just going to be laying in the water on a floaty toy. But look, can we talk about the bucket seats?
Yes.
There's bucket seats.
Several.
And they're beautiful.
Same matching, like the interior is the same royal blue, like light royal blue with creamy accents. Right, Jared? Look at that.
So beautiful. Yes, cream, and then the blue in where the back would go and the seat would go, but the surround is cream. And then there's the magical engine cover box.
Yep. Since it's an inboard outboard, the engine sits at the back of the boat, and there's a big upholstered box over it.
Like, I mean, it's basically a bouncy house.
Yeah, it's like acres of vinyl, and there are I don't know, like pillowy bolsters that
Yes.
run sideways from across the top of the engine box, and each of them is like a.
Jeff, can you see the multiple blues on there, or does it all look the same to you?
I see multiple colors. Are they all blues?
They're all different variations on blue.
Like blue's my favorite color, and so there's like lots of different colors, of blue.
It looks really good.
We might buy this boat. We might actually talk Alex into
3 different shades.
buying this boat for me after I use it for a year.
And then there are two lovely cup holders as well.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 rear seats all the way in the back that are all cream.
I wonder how many cigarette lighters it has.
That's a really good question. We should just message the guy and ask him that question.
Now, back when I fixed boats at a marina, we would use those cup holders to grab and pull that box right off of there. So
Okay.
it's good to have those. It's in a good place to open that hatch in a hurry.
That's the kind of detail that's important to know, because you look like the way we look at this boat is sort of abstract, like it's all upside pleasure, but like you're gonna have to deal with stuff, and so
Someone's gonna have to open that. You know that. You were all over that
the cobalt.
what was it? The cobalt?
Yeah,
Cobalt, right?
yeah, the cobalt, the smoke show.
The cream puff. Yep.
Yeah, the smoke show cream puff with how many cigarette lighters? 4.
I don't know, but it's
4
Great
cigarettes
number.
in an 18-foot bow rider, Alex. But
Plenty.
Almost enough.
it's almost
Almost enough.
Just enough. Almost enough. Okay, what else do we love about it? It's hard. I mean, I don't know where you go from there, except
you go to Elizabethtown with a fair
Yeah.
offer in your pocket. That's where you go from there.
I mean, it's also so cheap.
No, it's expensive.
Do we want to talk about how cheap it is, or are we just going to lose the boat to a listener?
Oh wait,
if
no.
we say
You know
that
what? We
out
should
loud?
talk that like great angly wraparound windshield, which has
Yes.
a lot more going on than it needs to. Like that windshield is designed to look cool more than it is to be a windshield. Like it's plenty of windshield. You're going to be great behind it. But like they could have stopped earlier with this windshield, but they didn't because they're like, we want this to look awesome.
So they wrapped it in wood.
It's got wood trim along the whole outside, which is nice because like these extruded aluminum framed windshields, they're kind of like it's good. They look nice. They're solid, but like softening that with that wood detail I think that's nice.
Look at that. See?
I don't know.
Wood trim.
I like that.
Yeah, I like it too.
Oh,
I have to say that the whole the console itself and like the gauges could be sexier.
it's very 84, right?
Okay.
It's not 79 or 81. It's like, hey, Miami Vice is out, and there, there's been a couple of Star Wars. It's sort of the future. So like, let's make stuff that looks sort of let's make stuff that looks sort of.
It's sort of the future.
Yeah, let's make stuff like we've all watched, Max Headroom on TV. So like, let's make it the future. And so they.
Okay, well, all I want to say is it's a ski boat, which we love by definition, but it's longer. It's 20. What is it? 23?
23.
24?
Yeah, 23. And you can,
And it pulls 2 skiers with ease.
yeah, and then those 2 skiers getting pulled with ease. Like if they're not like, it pulls 2 skiers with ease, but those 2 skiers are going to be working hard, and then they're going to want to take a nap. And there's a place to do that in the cabin.
There's a place to take a nap. Exactly.
A boat nap.
I don't see how it gets, and it's so cheap.
$6,500
So
bucks.
cheap. We're not going to tell you. Oh,
No.
we are gonna-
I'm going to beep that
Yes,
out.
we are gonna tell
I'm going
you.
to beep that out with the foghorn sound.
I love it so much.
We literally might buy this. We literally might buy this.
Yeah, we really might.
I'll be disappointed if you don't.
Oh, yeah, that's not. As Steph said
haven't-
last week, this is the problem with boat of the week.
I did.
You said there was like regret and like lament in your voice. You're like, oh,
Why did we
God,
do this?
This is
a
the
terrible
problem with boat of
idea.
the week. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Chris Craft Scorpion 23 is your boat of the week.
It's the boat of the week, stable or sleek. Check it.
How you feel, Jared? Is it fun being here for this?
I'm honored to be part of the show.
All right, we're gonna have to take some pictures of us and post them. All right, that was not the, like, you know, that might not be a crowd favorite boat of the week because we didn't take, you know, a listener's submission, which we value very much. But we're gonna let a few more listeners submission. We're going to let a few more listener submissions collect up, and then we'll do like a real thorough head-to-head boat of the week.
Right.
And the stakes for boat of the week are going up because we now have figured out how to get boaty show hats, one of which is being worn by Jeremy. It's got the boat.
Yes.
It's got the boat tractor on it and everything. And so boat of the week, the hot admin got promoted to vice president of advertising and has been shirking her. She hasn't hired an intern yet to mail boat of the week winner stickers. This is all made up. But yeah, there are gonna be probably some hats in the works for.
I have received one of those hats.
Oh yeah,
It is at home. I like it a lot. I went with the trucker style, despite being a dad. Steph has one of the dad hat styles.
Yes. You like it? It's a good hat.
It is good. Yes.
It turned out really well. It's a Richardson 112. It turned out well.
I go with the blue or the gray.
You went with the blue.
I went with blue as well.
I also want to say that I got an email today from that I don't know what made me just think of this, but Jeff, you're gonna know what I'm talking about here. I got an email from somebody, Summerland Island, wrote, you know, for a couple of reasons, but then this is the close. I love this so much. We are just getting to summer planning, which makes us all river itchy. Can't wait.
River itchy.
That's a good itchy preseason.
Not in or post.
You don't want to be river itchy in September.
I love this so much because I feel like, remember when we used to do like, you know, like this time of year, y'all would gather us for like fish fry because everyone was river itchy, but we didn't have the word, and now we do.
We were like, oh, we're so excited for summer. Like, that doesn't really convey what it is, but river itchy. And Jeremy, in September, if you're river itchy, it's like you probably have some regrets and need some antibiotics.
But also a sign of a good summer.
Exactly.
You're going to be making some fall resolutions.
We're not done till we're river itchy.
All right. On that note, Stephanie, would you please? We don't have intro music yet. Jane Ash wrote intro music for a new segment that he is lobbying hard for, which is for me to read old boat ads because he likes it so much, and he sent this bleeping earworm that I'm trying not to think about it because if it gets back in my head, it's not going to go out again, and it'll be a segment. It'll be a segment coming up. I haven't yet programmed it into the Bodie Show board, so I can just like hit a button and play it, so we can have the flow which we need. But that will come up, Jay. It'll come up. Thank you very much for writing that intro to vintage boat ads. Jay hasn't yet written a This Week in Curling intro, but we're going to cover This Week in Curling, Stephanie. Because
is that you tossing it to me?
Yes, because we had a bunch of like follow up on stone sharpening.
Yes, we had. Well, we had the great mystery, and we had the mystery of the fact that the stones were sharpened, and therefore we should expect additional curl, which was just full of mystery. It was from the ice committee. We don't know who they are. We still don't know who they are. I will find out this week. Although I'm not looking forward to going to Canada after this week, I'll tell you that right now. But that's okay. We'll set that aside. But I will say that I had so much curiosity about the physics of curling that I had to look into it. So people don't know, you've this pebbled ice. It's bumpy. You sort of slide your curling rock down to kind of hit the bullseye, if you will. But the whole point of curling is that depending on what spin you put on your rock as you release it, it will curl either to the right or to the left. That's why it's called curling, and it's why you can go around one rock and yet still hit something right behind it and leave it, in the middle of the bullseye. So the question is, why does it curl? And so I went to look it up, and I found out that literally nobody knows why it happens. Like there's like a whole theory about it. Everybody thought they understood, and it kind of made sense. Like you were spinning one way, so you had more resistance on the front, and there were like vectors and all these people, whatever. It's a whole thing. And then recently they found out that's not what happens. And the opposite of that is what's actually happening. It goes in the wrong direction. It should curl to the left. It actually curls to the right. They don't know why. And this is and like the initial concept was chalked up. Are you going to tribology or tribology?
No, not yet.
Okay. So yeah, but yes, tribology was the original concept, which translates to the study of rubbing.
So wait, Stephanie. So you're
Yes.
telling me that there's a formal field that studies rubbing, and that field is called tribology?
That's correct. That's correct. But it turns out they were wrong.
Wait, you're telling me that there's the study of rubbing is called tribology? Okay, I think I have it clear now.
Just need to go over that a couple times. Okay, so here we are. But it turns out tribology does not explain why the curling rock goes where it goes. So so some people did like they got lasers and they got like some
An advanced degree in tribology.
no, like literally like
Further studies.
Are there conventions?
I mean I really would
frozen
encourage
tribology versus heated tribology. Sorry, carry on.
No, you're doing the right thing.
Like, what's glass like? Like,
it's the most amazing. Like, I would encourage everybody to Google this. There's a lot of things you don't want to Google. This is one you do.
Use incognito mode when you do that.
Everybody should Google the science of curling. It's amazing. You will learn absolutely nothing, but that doesn't matter.
you know what? It's good to have things in your life that are are no stakes, not low stakes, but no stakes.
Yes,
And if the science of curling is no stakes, because like the rock curls from left to right or right to left, like it just does.
nobody knows why.
Still.
Still to this day, like the article that I sent you was a great summation. There's a lot of wordplay in it, which I really appreciate. But the article is like from 2 years ago, and they had just done this huge study in Japan. Literally, like everyone, like micrology, just every kind of science you can imagine, throwing at it. Nobody could figure it out. Nothing made sense. They couldn't get an actual theory. But I do know what they were doing when they sharpened the stones because I asked somebody over the beers last Wednesday.
Yeah.
And here's what they did. They basically roughed them up, like made them rougher on the bottom.
So that it would change how they rubbed?
Friction.
They're increasing the friction on the bottom of the rock. So the bottom of a curling stone is not flat. It's like a bottom of a beer bottle.
Okay.
So
there's like a hump in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like a circle that rubs, and it has a name. It's called the running band.
The rubbing band?
Nope.
Running band. Okay.
Yep.
The running band.
Is that a dance?
Or the running man.
So it's got a running band.
So they roughed up the running band.
You're losing it.
Now it's a dance battle, I guess.
like in the Thriller video. I'm glad this is at the end of the episode.
I know we're falling apart. It's really a tough topic to take seriously.
God.
But I will.
And they do.
I'm gonna have the hardest time not naming this episode Tribology. I think I'm gonna have to. And also, when we buy that boat, that's what it's gonna get named to.
Can I ask a simple question? The curling season is not all year, but how many more weeks are there? And therefore, how many more This Week's in Curling episodes can we have?
I think it goes till March.
Oh, that's a pretty long season.
So a few more weeks,
It's
you're
like
saying.
hockey. That's like 6 more weeks.
Yep. Don't worry. We make up, like, every single time we do this, we make up a new segment.
This is 3 weeks in a row now. Wait.
We'll have a new segment next week
all,
anyway.
all of your fans, Stephanie, they want to know week to week, better or worse curler.
All right. This week, it was not good.
So you were before you were trending down. Did you stabilize? Did you find a new baseline?
I would say it stabilized. Everybody had a tough time. The ice was a little funky this week.
Oh,
well, and there were sharpened stones.
I know.
You had to deal with the sharpened stones. That's tough.
There was additional curl because of the sharpened stones, which I didn't experience that. But I'm not. I'm just out there trying to get through it without dying.
You know what I like? I think you've definitely become a good curler because you're like complaining about the ice.
I know. I knew you were going to say that, and you're so right. That is the signal of the fact that you're an actual curler, is when you're talking about the ice quality. But it is true that because you throw everything in one direction, and then you're all the way at the other end, and you throw everything back, right?
Yeah.
Makes sense. But in one direction, it felt like throwing downhill. Everything was too fast, and then throwing the other way, it felt like uphill. Too slow.
You sent me a video of the guy spraying water up in the air.
Yes, the pebbling.
The pebbling, right? Because the ice is, you say pebbled, but it's kind of like it's like the surface of a golf ball. That's kind of what you mean, right? It's like bumpity,
Yes.
dimpled. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
But more like mountains than valleys.
Okay.
I follow that. I understand
Bumpy.
that. A golf ball actually is more the valleys.
Yeah, it's cut in.
Yeah.
It's not
Yes.
raised up.
Right?
It's the opposite. Yeah.
Right.
Dimpled.
See, we're all on the same page. We're like a bunch
Dimpled
of
versus
sport-
pebbled.
Yeah.
So the running band and the ice dimples. When you got a rough running band, your ice dimples. Oh my God!
And you should expect additional curl.
So this week in curling, expect additional curl. Okay, I'm also curious, like why the tribologists are all in Japan. Like, okay, I'm not Googling tribology.
You got.
I'm Googling.
Physics of curling.
I'm Googling tribology, but I'm gonna do it on Alex's phone. All right, I think.
All right.
I think. Oh, I was gonna tell you the story, the Bodhi stories about Jeremy. All right, do you know what story I'm gonna tell?
I think I've been here before.
Yeah, that one. All right, so it like Jeremy and I had been in college together for a while, and he invited me to visit his family's farm on the Chesapeake Bay. Okay, so I drive there on land car, right, and I get there, and I'm looking out at the water, no real sort of sense of place, and then we get in. You had a Grady White, still have that same boat, right?
New Grady White.
Grady White.
Still a Grady White.
Yeah, we're on the Grady White. We go out and we go cruising around, and I think we were just cruising around. We might have thought about skiing or fishing or something, but I start looking around and I'm like, man, I'm having serious deja vu. And there's a fire watch tower, and I look over and I'm like, I think I know that tower. And I look over, I think I know that island and that bay behind it and that marina. And then I look back at Jeremy's family's house, and I'm like, oh my God, I know this exact spot, because probably for 10 years, maybe longer, my family would charter, which is boaty for rent. We would rent a sailboat out of Langford Creek Marina, which is right around the corner on the Chesapeake from Jeremy's family's house. And we'd get there typically like on a Wednesday or a Thursday after, quote unquote, after work. We'd get on the boat and get out of the marina and anchor off of an island. What was the name of that island?
Cackaway Island.
And I was freaking out because I was like, I have been here many, many times, but it was 10, 15 years ago. And I have very distinct memories of looking over at the farm and seeing kids running around and playing on the lawn. This was, a decade before I met Jeremy, and he subsequently became one of my best friends. I'm his kid's godfather, on and on. We've spent 30 plus years together, and we had that like small world convergence well before we met. And so that's my Bodhi story about us. That's pretty cool.
No, it was very cool. And then as you said, give me a Bodhi story, as I was thinking I was going to tell the same one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, there are some other Bodhi stories that we have to share. So maybe next time you're on, we'll do those. You think we got a show? I think we got a show.
I think so. It was a pleasure and a joy.
Yeah. I'm going to be on the road for another couple of weeks, and the next show is actually going to be from Wyoming.
Wow.
And I'm going to make Wyoming Bodhi. I don't know how yet.
Okay. You'll figure it out.
I just got a skeptical look from my fellow travelers.
If curling is boaty, then Wyoming is also boaty.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got boat races ahead of us. I think we might be near the Snake River.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna be maybe skiing, which is on frozen water.
Yeah, I'm going to try and do it without the skiing, but we'll see. I might have to fall back on that. All right.
All right. Good to see you guys. Peace out.
Thank you.
Yo ho ho, that's it for the Bodie Show. Pack the cooler, grab the lines, let's go, go, go. Yo ho 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 ho.
Hey, thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next week. We're out. Say bye, Steph.
Bye.
Bye. Stay boaty.
Stay boaty. Yeah, Jer. All right, we're out. Bye, JK. Hey, thank you, JK. We really appreciate you. Take it easy. Bye, everybody.